viable option to end the chaos and reopen the House, and even that is looking like it's on thin ice at this point, guys.
We have breaking news on Capitol Hill. This chaotic fight that we have watched between House Republicans over this new speaker situation, it's even uglier now, if you can imagine that. There's been this heated GOP conference meeting underway. It's happening right now, and we're learning that members, they are swearing at each other, they are shouting at each other. In the case of Matt Gaetz, refusing to sit down after former House Speaker McCarthy told him to do just that.
Yeah, a fellow Republican apparently pointing directly at him and saying, this is all your fault for his filing a motion to vacate McCarthy as Speaker. Let's take you back to Capitol Hill with Melanie Nola. So Melanie, what's happening now?
Yeah, well, Republicans are still meeting behind closed doors in that conference meeting, which I'm told has grown incredibly heated and emotional. And we've seen a lot of these conference meetings over these past 2 weeks as Republicans are faced with this deepening leadership crisis and have been unable to get themselves out of this impasse, and they are plunged further into chaos. And it's hard to imagine things getting worse, but that's where we're at right now, guys, because I'm told that during this meeting there was that confrontation that you mentioned, Boris, between Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy. Matt Gaetz stood up, went towards the microphones. McCarthy told him to sit down. Gaetz refused, and then another member, Congressman Mike Fox, got up and started swearing at Gaetz, saying, this is all your fault. And things got really emotional there, but it didn't just end there. There was also multiple Republicans who stood up, including some people who were backing Jim Jordan, who said that he should get out of the speaker's race, calling on him to step down, asking why he should still be designee. Jim Jordan is, of course, still in the race, has refused to step down, even though he does not have the votes and canceled a planned floor vote on a third speaker ballot today. And then something else that has come up, guys, which again, speaking to the intensity and emotions and frustration, there have been a number of the Jordan holdouts who have been receiving death threats, menacing messages, angry phone calls to their offices. There's been several members who said they have received death threats over their vote. So that came up in the meeting. Jim Jordan, of course, has denounced those threats and said he is not involved in any sort of outside pressure campaign tactics that have been deployed by some conservative leaders, conservative media figures. But it all just speaks to just how tense things are inside the GOP, and they still scramble to come up with a solution.
It's awful.
They'll have two remaining as we step
When it comes to Jim Jordan and this idea of empowering the Speaker pro tem, the sort of acting Speaker, where is Jim Jordan on that?
Well, he's gone back and forth. So initially he was adamantly against that idea. He was telling his supporters to vote against it yesterday when it looked like it might come up for a vote. Then this morning we were hearing that Jim Jordan had a new plan, that he was going to be getting behind that resolution. The idea being that it can temporarily empower the Speaker until maybe January, that it takes away the chaos of a speakerless House, and it gives Jim Jordan more time to build support for his speakership bid, which he's clearly lacking right now. But the problem is his own conservative members are fiercely against that idea. He was getting pushback in the meeting against that idea. They also, some of them came out of the meeting and were telling us some of the things. Jim Banks, for example, said this would be the, quote, biggest FU to Republican voters if they moved ahead with that plan. So it's very unclear, Brianna and Boris, at this point, whether Jim Jordan is still going to come out of that meeting supporting this resolution. And even if he did, it's unclear whether it would have the votes to pass. They would clearly need to, or kind of in a wait and see mode right now. So very unclear. It looked like this morning we might have had a viable path, an option out of this chaos, but now that's looking less and less certain.
Is joining me now on set is Colorado Republican Congressman Ken Buck. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. So as Garrett just reported, Jim Jordan is huddled meeting with some holdouts on Capitol Hill. You, of course, are one of those holdouts. You're not there. You're here. Is that a sign that your vote is not gettable?
I am not going to change my vote on Jim Jordan. I'm happy to meet with them. I'm happy to meet with Patrick McHenry, Kevin McCarthy, anybody that wants to meet and talk. I think the best move is for Jim to withdraw at this point. I think he may need another vote to be convinced that he's not going to get there, which is fine. He was the nominee. The conference should give him that respect. But I think at some point we need to move on and find the 217 votes for a plan.
And just to be clear, will you attend that meeting? Let's assume it's still ongoing once this conversation finishes. Will you go and listen to what he has to say?
Oh, absolutely. He's meeting with folks individually, so I just kind of moved my time slot along so I could meet with him, but I absolutely will go and meet, yeah.
Let's talk big picture here. You heard Garrett make this point that I thought was interesting. He said that the momentum for McHenry is essentially toast. Is that how you see it? Do you think that McHenry is not going to be the Speaker Pro Tem? Because just to reset the table here, there had been this plan, I guess, C at this point, right, to give him more powers, but you all would need to vote to do that. Is that something you would support, or do you think that effort's done?
Well, I agree that it can't happen as a bipartisan effort. We have to have 217 votes before we leave conference for one candidate or for Patrick McHenry as a temporary candidate. I think it would be politically unwise to try to go back to a base and say, give us the votes, give us the money, give us the resources to win elections after we had to use the Democrats to make the House floor functional. So I think there will be that realization when Jim Jordan decides to step away.
And would you, just to put a fine point on it, would you support McHenry if you could get 217 Republican votes? You would give him a vote for expanded authority, essentially.
Well, I would give him a vote to be the Speaker of the House for a temporary time period. And I would, during that time period, work very hard with my Republican colleagues to try to find the 217 votes to make sure that we have a permanent Speaker for the rest of this Congress.
But you're not going to do it with Democratic support. It has to be Republicans finding that path on their own.
I believe that's right. And I think that's a general feeling in the conference.
Let's talk about what happened at that meeting today, because apparently there was some reporting that McCarthy shouted at me to sit down. Were you in that meeting? What did you think?
I was there for 3.5 hours. Kevin McCarthy went to the microphone several times, and as the person who was last speaker was granted the ability to speak as often and as long as he wanted to. Matt Gaetz got up and wanted to make a point. Kevin told him to sit down. At that point, temper started flaring a little bit. A barrage of phone calls. I had 6 full-time people answering the phones. I have 20,000 customers regain confidence in their game plan. All kinds of things are going on. There's going to be some tension.
For death threats, Congressman, because you're not supporting Jim.
And it just stirs people up. And a lot of people are scared about the direction of this country, and they're taking this.
And we're not the only congressman. You say that these threatening texts and phone calls and emails. What does that say about the state right now of the House of Representatives? And some people are looking at this from the outside and saying it feels broken right now, Congressman. Do you feel that way?
Politics is downstream from the reality that we have in this country. And we have a country that is very divided. What we need to do in Congress is to make sure we don't throw some gasoline on that fire. We need to make sure that we're talking in ways that soothe the tensions and not inflame the tensions.
Given where you are right now, given that it has been so many days without a speaker of the House, do you regret voting to oust?
I don't. I regret the fact that we didn't solve this problem. I voted the way I did because I think that the spending in this country is existential.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And Carter deciding not to bring this one out. He's piloted 2 drives so far, and unfortunately not very well piloted. Both led to interceptions. Now they're facing the deficit. Another touchdown after that previous pick. Starting over here, 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Over the middle, it's complete. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4. 2nd and 6. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 27 yards there, a 1st down. They'll go with Akers here up the middle and down to the 41. You talk about this Miami defense. And they're a tough unit to throw against. Currently 4th toughest in the NFL.
And I'm struggling a little bit trying to really categorize this crew. They're top 10 in the league against the pass, but the bottom half of the league in sacking the quarterback. That doesn't make sense. Imagine if this group ever put pressure on the QB, it easily move into the top 5.
The 1st down line at the 34 here on 3rd down. They're going to look to throw. Working the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he's got another 1st down as as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 13-yard line. Now a give. Akers running left. And he'll work free from one tackle, but that's about all as he's taken down. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. Now back to throw. And his throw here is incomplete.
How about that? Red man coverage and decided to test him early. But it proved up to the task and forced the incompletion.
Now play number 8 on this drive, and they need 9 yards to pick up the first on 3rd. Now here's a look for the end zone, but that one's going to wind up incomplete.
And that play there was certainly a scouting report special because coverage was all too aware that this close to the end zone, he's going to become a bigger weapon for that offense. And they were there to help force the incompletion.
And this one is right through. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. So, Charles, they are on the board after that kick. So, 3 drives, 3 points. Obviously not the start that you were hoping for, but they're able to erase that 0 off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is a point of drive is not what offenses are striving for by any stretch. They're happy they've got 3 now. They hope that unlocks their offense for bigger points down the road.
Devon A-Chain to the offense, ready to go once again. He's up over 1,200 yards now on the season. He had a touchdown on that last drive as well. Things continuing to trend in the right direction for this offense, but specifically, Charles, this running game.
And it all comes back to one word, doesn't it? Cohesion. Because you have to have that. Center, guards, tackles, tight ends. Some of the wide receivers being involved, maybe a lead runner at times, maybe a fullback. But all in all, those X's and O's on the grease board that look so nice, that turns into a jumble in real life. And these guys have to know what to do on the run, on the move. They've done it well for them all year long.
A-Chain here. They stay on the ground. And he'll have the Dolphins first down as they'll take this up to the 38-yard line. Give him 12 yards there. The Dolphins have a first down. After one, a 14-3 ball game. Second quarter from Miami. It's the Dolphins with the football. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. As they've got it as we resume action. A give left side. Here's A-Chain. And he's going to be stepped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39. The Dolphins looking for a 5th win of the season in this one. And they come in losers of 2 straight, so trying to turn things around here.
And you just mentioned 2 straight. And when you talk about 2 games, that's nothing to panic about. They feel like they've been a little bit unlucky in the last couple. This is a club that's more than capable of turning things around, and I expect them to play really well here.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
They go play action with Willis. That one caught by Tyreek Hill.
Did you just see that shit?
Very close to a first down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short.
My nigga missed the tackle. That was some bullshit. Hold on, I gotta see that. So this nigga gets off the ground. He misses the tackle. Gets up.
Crossing route
He got up and tackled me twice.
and it worked for a completion, but you have to know where the sticks are. On 3rd down, didn't get beyond them, no pickup.
And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback. The offense for Los Angeles returns to the field as we grind toward the end of the season here, and they haven't had the season that they had hoped. So let me ask you to play GM. Where might they look to make some changes?
I think when you look into the upcoming draft, think hard about them drafting multiple offensive linemen. They've got to get stouter up front. And as a GM always tells me, Charles, this is a big boy league, and big people always end up winning games for you.
They'll begin on the ground with Akers. And he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
Even though they gave up more than they wanted to on that play, it actually illustrates how well they bottled them up throughout the game because that was his longest run of this contest.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
I think it's high time to get him some passes that he's comfortable with, some easy throws, some completions. He's not even at 50% thus far.
Well, certainly that has played a big role into why they are trailing right now. On third and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. And unable to connect. If he had caught it, it would have been a first down. Instead, it's 4. Here comes the Rams punter now, as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. Now a hit and a loose football. And now the Rams have got it going the other way. And his crew will take over with a football at the 35-yard line. To Jefferson. 16 yards is the pickup there and a first down for L.A. They'll toss this right side to Cam Akers. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, second and 12. Going right back to Akers. And he'll take this inside the 20 and down to the 18. A short gain of just over 2 yards as the first half clock dips inside of 3 minutes.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the drives and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Now throwing on third down there, but he cannot connect. And his kick is good. And a second field goal here cuts their deficit to 14-6 now. So the margin shrinks a bit as back-to-back drives here for him and with field goals.
Yeah, we know no one's turning down 3, especially in the first half, but you've got to finish these drives in the end zone. That's got to be a priority.
Yeah, I'm at the house. What's up?
You email?
You know you'd rather
which email you sent it to?
Sufferson.
Once again, and he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're all in the second
I'm here.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure you guys.
They'll tell you, I had no idea how many yards.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, I'll send it over. I got it.
Okay.
All right.
Where they are in a ball game and how many yards they've accumulated, because you know they're always working towards 100.
He's been working well towards 100 here. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up second down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beat. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
End of yardage. Now a deep ball there on second down, but it'll wind up incomplete.
Zone coverage there, and they were playing deep. That makes it obviously a little bit harder to run by guys. And that time, there was not much of a window to get the ball in there, and it winds up incomplete.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. They'll let this go deep for Waddle. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
Early on, the running game's been working well, and the offensive line has been pleased by that. The thought process there, catch those safeties creeping up, trying to help against the running game. They tried to hit them over the top, unsuccessfully.
So a change of possession here on the punt. With a first and 10. The offense trots back out, ready for this next drive, and there's the running back Cam Akers. And he's sure looking like a lock for a 1,000-yard season. Don't know if he's going to get it in this game, but he'd probably like to just to get past that point.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, as you noted, there's still time, still opportunity. opportunity. There's still more games to be played. So, yeah, it's not a lock. But barring injury, it certainly looks like he's going to get there. And what an accomplishment that is. Anytime you get over 1,000 yards, you're celebrated in the NFL.
It's been quite a season. Still a couple chapters left in that book, though. So the completion gets him just a yard, and that's going to bring up second down. A give up the middle to Akers. And great blocking downfield as he's got this almost to the 35-yard line.